Right now, a wall of Scandinavian cold air is slamming into Atlantic storm systems directly over the United Kingdom. And what is forming between those two forces could make this the most dangerous weekend of February 2026. 19 days of rain are expected this month alone. That is 2 out of every 3 days soaking wet. But here is the part nobody is talking about. The real threat is not the rain. It is what comes after the rain. And I am going to tell you exactly when it hits your city, hour by hour, so stay with me. Now, before we go any further, I need you to do something. Drop a comment right now with the name of your town or city. I am covering every major region of the United Kingdom in this video, but if your specific area is not mentioned, I will personally reply with a forecast tailored to your location. That is a promise. And if you are watching from Scotland, do not skip ahead just yet, because what is heading your way by Sunday evening is something the Met Office has not seen at this scale since Storm Goretti ripped through Cornwall with 99-mile-per-hour gusts just last month. Let me give you the full picture. A strong jet stream, displaced further south than usual, is driving low-pressure systems straight at us. At the same time, a block of high pressure sitting over Scandinavia is pushing freezing air westward across the North Sea. These two forces are colliding right over Britain. That collision is what makes this weekend so unpredictable, so dangerous, and so important for you to understand. Here is what I promise you. By minute 5 of this video, you will know the exact hour the worst weather hits your region. By minute 8, you will have a complete survival checklist that could genuinely protect your family this weekend. And at minute 12, I am revealing something about next week that most forecasters are not telling you yet. So do not leave. Let us start where the mildest air sits right now. London and the southeast. London wakes up this Sunday morning to 12 degrees Celsius. Now, that number sounds almost pleasant for February, does it not? The historical average for the 8th of February in London is just 7 to 8 degrees. So 12 degrees is running 4 to 5 degrees above normal. But here is the twist. That warmth is not a gift. It is a warning sign. That mild Atlantic air pushing across southern England is carrying enormous amounts of moisture with it. And moisture means rain. London typically sees 12 days of rainfall during February, with a monthly total of around 37 millimeters. Today alone could deliver a significant chunk of that. Light drizzle begins mid-morning, around 10 o'clock. By early afternoon, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, that drizzle thickens into persistent rain. Not torrential, not dramatic, but the kind of steady, soaking rain that catches you off guard. You step outside thinking it is fine. 20 minutes later, you are drenched through. The overnight low drops to 7 degrees. Wind speeds stay moderate, but enough to make that 7 degrees feel like 4. Cloud cover dominates all day. If you see sunshine at all, and that is a big if, you are looking at perhaps 2 hours maximum. Now, Brighton. Pay attention if you are on the south coast. Brighton sits at 7 to 8 degrees during the day, dropping to 4 or 5 overnight. But Brighton gets hit harder than London because of wind. The coastal exposure means gusts sweep straight in off the English Channel. February rainfall in Brighton averages 89 millimeters. That is more than double London. Southampton runs 4 to 9 degrees with a biting sea breeze that makes the thermometer a liar. If the reading says 9 degrees, your body feels 6, moving west now. And this is where things start to get more serious. Bristol, 9 degrees during the day, 4 degrees overnight. Rainfall here averages 46 millimeters across 3 to 4 notable wet days in February. The 8th might actually be one of the drier days, but do not be fooled by that. The sky stays stubbornly overcast. No breaks, no sunshine, just grey from dawn to dusk. Bath, sitting just down the road, mirrors Bristol almost exactly. 8 degrees by day, 3 degrees at night. But Plymouth is where the Atlantic really makes its presence known. Temperatures range from 5 to 9 degrees, but the relentless sea wind strips away any comfort those numbers might suggest. Rain can arrive at any hour, morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night. The neighbouring coastlines of Cornwall and Devon face strong gusts exceeding 30 kilometres per hour during the afternoon. And remember, this is the same stretch of coast that Storm Goretti battered just 4 weeks ago, with gusts over 100 miles per hour at the Isles of Scilly. The ground is still saturated. The infrastructure is still recovering. Fresh rain on waterlogged ground is a recipe for flooding. If you are in the southwest, the worst window is between 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 8 o'clock in the evening. That is when wind and rain combine at their peak. Plan around it. Now, the Midlands. And this is where I need you to lean in, because the Midlands face a completely different threat than the south. Birmingham, 7 degrees for the high. But the overnight low plunges to just 1 degree Celsius. 1 degree. That is hovering right on the edge of freezing. And when temperatures sit that close to zero, something dangerous happens. Frost forms on road surfaces and exposed ground during the early hours of Sunday morning. The Met Office data shows Birmingham averages 3 to 4 days of snowfall during February. Snow is not guaranteed this Sunday, but it absolutely cannot be ruled out. If you are driving in the Birmingham area before 7 in the morning, treat every road surface as potentially icy. Oxford sees 9 degrees by day, dropping to 3 at night. Light rain arrives during the afternoon. But Cambridge, over in the east, faces an additional hazard: morning fog. The East Anglia region is notorious for thick February fog, and the 8th is no exception. If you are making an early start or driving any distance through East Anglia, visibility could drop dramatically before sunrise. Reduce your speed, use fog lights, give yourself extra time, do not skip the next section. What is happening in the north of England this weekend is the detail that could change your plans entirely. Manchester. The daytime high reaches just 7 degrees, but the overnight low falls to 2 degrees. Here is the statistic that stopped me in my tracks. According to long-term climate records, the 8th of February is historically one of the coldest days of the entire month in Manchester. The average minimum temperature over many years sits as low as 0.8 degrees. Manchester averages only 3.4 hours of sunshine per day during February. That is the least sunshine of any month in the entire year. Cold rain mixed with sleet remains a real possibility during the evening hours, roughly from 6 o'clock onwards. Liverpool faces a similarly brutal day, 3 to 8 degrees. But Liverpool's position on the western coast means it catches the full force of Atlantic winds. The wind chill factor drives the real field temperature down dramatically. February in Liverpool averages a staggering 15 days of rain. The sea temperature off the coast sits at just 7.4 degrees Celsius. That onshore wind carrying moisture off that freezing water creates that leaden, suffocating grey atmosphere Liverpool knows so well in winter. Leeds and York in Yorkshire, 8 to 9 degrees by day, dropping to 3 to 4 at night. But the Vale of York is essentially a wind tunnel. Cold winds from the North Sea sweep across that flat terrain with nothing to block them. The chill cuts right through layers. Morning frost is routine. If you are in York on Sunday morning, expect a thin white veil of ice on rooftops and pavements when you draw back the curtains. Newcastle, 8 degrees during the day, 4 degrees overnight on paper. But the winds coming in off the North Sea push the feels-like temperature significantly lower. On days like this, the wind chill in Newcastle rivals some Scandinavian cities. Light rain and strong winds dominate the entire day. If you are a Geordie heading out this Sunday, wrap up like you mean it. Now. Scotland. And this is the section I told you about at the beginning. This is why you needed to stay. Edinburgh. The 7th of February is actually the coldest day on average across the whole of February in Edinburgh. The 8th sits right next to it. Highs reach only 5 to 6 degrees. Overnight lows fall to between 1 and 2 degrees. Edinburgh averages between 19 and 20 days of measurable precipitation in February. Let that sink in. 20 days of rain or snow out of 28. The first 10 days of February are a particularly wet window, averaging around 4.1 millimeters of rainfall every single day. But here is the detail that changes everything. With temperatures flirting with freezing point overnight, there is every possibility that rain turns to sleet or wet snow during the early hours or late evening. Humidity in Edinburgh during early February runs between 86 and 88%. That damp does not just make you cold, it seeps into your bones. It makes 5 degrees feel like -2. Glasgow faces even more challenging conditions. February is the month with the heaviest snowfall in Glasgow across the entire year. The city averages roughly 4 days of snow during February, accumulating up to 49 millimeters. That is double what Edinburgh sees. Daytime temperatures reach only 5 to 6 degrees. Overnight readings could dip below freezing. Glasgow sits at the mercy of competing Atlantic weather systems and cold northern air, which makes the weather remarkably unpredictable. You could enjoy weak sunshine at 9 in the morning and be trudging through sleet by noon. Wind speeds in Glasgow are higher than most other British cities, and the real field temperature can easily drop several degrees below zero. The Scottish Highlands. This is an altogether different world. Temperatures at altitude plunge to -5 or even -10 degrees Celsius. Winds on the summits can reach gale force. Heavy snow cover across the peaks is normal. If you have plans to walk or explore the highlands this weekend, check local forecasts meticulously. Carry proper winter kit. Tell someone your route before you leave. The mountains in February are stunning, but they demand absolute respect. Now Wales. Cardiff sees conditions broadly similar to Bristol. 9 degrees by day, 3 to 4 at night. February is technically the snowiest month of the year in Cardiff, though snow settling at sea level is usually negligible. Rain is the main story. Cardiff averages roughly 9 rainy days in February. Expect scattered light showers on Sunday, nothing catastrophic, but keep a waterproof handy. But North Wales around Snowdonia, or Eryri as it is properly known in Welsh, is a completely different picture. Temperatures drop considerably below the coastal lowlands. They may remain below freezing even during the day at higher elevations. A mixture of rain and snow is commonplace. Winds across the ridges can be fierce. Northern Wales in early February retains a climate more like January than anything approaching spring. Northern Ireland, Belfast. Cold and damp and entirely typical of February. Temperatures range from 2 to 8 degrees, but Belfast's weather is remarkably changeable. Within the space of a single day, you could experience weak sunshine, drizzle, strong winds, and even a few flurries of snow drifting on the breeze. February averages 16 days of rain in Belfast. That means well over half the month is wet. Winds in Belfast tend to be stronger than many cities on the British mainland because of its exposed position open to the Atlantic. Sudden gusts can bring rain or hail at virtually any moment. Keep a waterproof jacket within arm's reach at all times. Right. Here is your survival checklist for this weekend. I promised it, and here it is. Number 1. Dress in layers. A thermal base layer next to the skin, a woolen jumper or fleece in the middle, a windproof, waterproof jacket on the outside. This is not fashion advice. This is the single most effective strategy for surviving Britain's damp winter. Number 2, carry an umbrella or waterproof even if the sky looks clear when you leave the house. February weather in Britain changes with remarkable speed and precious little warning. Number 3, motorists, exercise extreme caution during early morning and late evening. Frost can render road surfaces treacherous, especially across the north, the Midlands, and Scotland. Check your tyres, check your lights, check your heating before you set off. Number 4, the window between 11 o'clock in the morning and 2 in the afternoon offers the most agreeable conditions across most of the country. Temperatures hit their peak. The best chance of any sunshine falls within those 3 hours. Plan outdoor activities accordingly. Number 5, for those over 65, for anyone with underlying health conditions, and for the very young, please keep warm. Drink plenty of hot fluids. Avoid prolonged exposure to cold, damp air. The sharp contrast between heated interiors and the raw air outside can be a genuine shock to the system. Cold, damp air aggravates respiratory complaints. This is not alarmism. This is medical fact backed by the United Kingdom Health Security Agency. Now, remember I said at the beginning that there was something most forecasters are not telling you about next week? Here it is. The Met Office's long-range outlook shows that cyclonic patterns will continue to dominate the United Kingdom through mid-February. That means more frontal systems approaching from the Atlantic colliding with that stubborn block of high pressure to the northeast. More rain, more hill snow, more strong winds. The pattern is not breaking. In fact, some models suggest that the second half of February could see even colder air filtering south, particularly into northeastern areas. There are hints of a brief drier and colder spell that could push temperatures in London down to -2 degrees by the third week of February. -2 in London. That would be exceptional. I will be covering all of that in detail in the next video. The question is whether we are heading for the coldest February in over a decade, and the data is starting to point in a direction that very few people are prepared for. So here is what I need from you right now. First, if you found this useful, hit that subscribe button so you do not miss the next update. This is a rapidly evolving situation, and the forecast could shift dramatically within the next 48 hours. Second, drop a comment with your city or town name. I read every single comment and I will reply with specific guidance for your area. And third, share this video with anyone you know who is over 65 or who has a health condition that could be affected by this cold. You could genuinely help someone stay safe this weekend. The 8th of February 2026. From London at 12 degrees to Glasgow threatening snow. From Plymouth battered by Atlantic winds to Newcastle shivering under North Sea gusts. Every corner of this country faces its own battle. But that is the nature of a British winter. It tests us, it challenges us, and somehow it always brings us together. Stay warm, stay safe. And I will see you in the next one where we answer the question everyone is asking. Is the worst of winter 2026 really behind us, or is the coldest week